What were the questions again? Oh,
who are you?
Who am I?
And why did you decide to say yes to this project?
We're a nonprofit, which we started in 2019 called Art Push, and then we opened a gallery like 12 years ago.
And why did you say yes to this project?
Because it was, I don't know, like, if anybody else, but, like, I still have not felt, like, together, like, since COVID. I was kind of in a routine of, like, promoting this event, promoting that event, and I wasn't in love with it anymore, and so I wanted to take a break from promotion, and that's kind of, like, when you called, when I was, like, getting in that headspace. I knew I wanted to focus on DEI because your project it aligned with like what my heart wants to do as well. Yeah.
So then talk about your process. Like you came here, you jumped in, and you were here for the documentary called The New Color, where we were looking at the artwork of Edith Boone, and you got to meet a few students.
Right.
And then how did we get from that conversation to here?
Well, so we watched that film together, which was kind of intimidating because she was like a really great artist, and the way that she organized it and organized all the people, I'm like, oh my God, I hope Sharon's not expecting like that from me because I don't know if I can do that. But she had shared that Starfish story with me.
Yeah.
So the story really resonated with me because the starfish is like a representation of a gift that you put out into the world. To me, that's what it came across. And so this was a way for me to continue to give, which is what I really want to do, and in a way that felt good to do it.
I know that by now almost everybody's heard the Starfish story, but since we're making this an official moment, I'll try to give you a synthesis. And so like in the Starfish story, there's a girl on the day after a storm that's throwing all kinds of starfish back into the ocean, but there's thousands and thousands of them on the shoreline, and a man walks up to her and says, like, why are you wasting your time? You can never make a difference. And she says, well, I made a difference for that one, and I made a difference for that one. And it reminds me, I love this story, and it reminds me of our work, how a lot of times we're planting a seed. Maybe we're hoping to like share an idea, but we never see the outcome. Or maybe we can help one student. We can't help everybody. We're chipping away at these really big social injustices. We don't see the outcome, but we make a difference for maybe the person whose story we hear. And so it was kind of a representation that small things matter, and together lots of small things add up to big things.
But that's what it makes me think. So you don't have to get so overwhelmed at everything, because it's like you can't fix everything, and it's overwhelming. I think especially between the ages of, like, for me, like between 13, 14 to now, every little tiny thing you do creates those ripples, which like are around the star, and the ripples go out and they merge with the rest of the ocean and they stay there, so I think no matter how small it is or what it is, just making a little effort to put good energy into the world. If everybody just did that a little bit here and there, I think it would be good.
I love it. And then on this, let's talk a little bit about the art. So we've got, we'll talk about what we can take from the actual painting itself, and then also, we were talking. Jessica mentioned Edith Boone's documentary, where you see lots of people in the community contributing, but lots of people in the community have contributed to this one, and they can continue to do so with all the starfish. But let's start by talking about the centerpiece. Talk about what you painted on and how you used an old painting.
Right. So Sharon was like, we could paint on the wall. We could do this. We could do that. And she's like, I do have this really big old canvas that I found at a dumpster that, I've been wanting to put something on it. And plus, then we talked about the Starfish story. And so I started like formulating a vision from the story of like what this would look like of a girl walking down the beach.
I like how you integrated like how you ended up with this canvas.
Right.
This and
so I was like, well, yeah. I'm like, then I was thinking about it more, and I was like, I could paint this, and all the starfish on the ground could represent like a gift that you feel that you can contribute towards making the world a better place. And then all the kids at the college could paint, a starfish, and with what their gift is, their own personal gift, and whether it's through activism or through friendship or love or peace or whatever if you're a musician, an artist, or how you want to contribute and put good into the world. So, and then I thought it'd be cool to like have like, so all those starfish that are all along the beach, it's not just the one person doing that, it's all of the people doing it together.
And then you got some original elements of the painting in here that you like.
Oh yeah. So, and to leave, I wanted to leave like some of the artist stuff, like, because it was found by a dumpster, and I felt bad like for that artist. Like, I've had paintings that somebody found by a dumpster, and I saw them later hanging in their house, and they were like, I found it at a dumpster, and I was hurt and also proud that they had taken it and put it up in their house.
Oh, it was one of your paintings?
Yeah,
oh
a
my
long
God.
time ago.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wanted to keep part of the person in the painting that had created this originally so that it wasn't thrown away. So he had done these stripes, and they were done with like a leather strap, but they were kind of falling apart. So I ripped them off and then sanded it down, but I couldn't get rid of the indent of the stripes. So I was thinking, oh, they kind of remind me of sun rays, and then I was just thinking, I immediately wanted to put mosaics in as sun rays. But also the splashes up at the top, I mean, that could be soda for all I know. But I tried to get it off, but it's not coming off. And I kind of like the fact that it's not perfect. It's kind of got this rawness to it that it keeps, and it keeps that person's spirit in it as well. And I like the idea of like thinking of them like seeing this someday and looking at it and going, why does that look so familiar to me? Mm-hmm. I recognize that for some reason. So I do.
It reminds me on an organizational level, like sometimes we'll think like, oh, or you might hear the answer like, oh, in the past, this is what's been done, or it's always been done that way. So I love this. Like there's some elements of the past, but there's all this new stuff that came to life on top, like by integrating the past and the present.
Right.
And then for you, like, was there any part of this project that was cathartic or healing for you while you were?
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
So much. And this is another cool idea I had. So I have like a crazy story, and I don't know how to tell it. That's the thing. And I've been waiting for the right time to tell it. Well, as soon as I get my together, then I'm going to go and tell people, because then I can say, look what I have now. I'm all healed and better. And I've been doing that, like waiting for that time for a long time, and it's not going to come. I realize I'm 54 and I'm not fixed, I'm not better, and there isn't some time where everything's going to be perfect that I can go out there and share it. But I also am not good verbally, even though I'm ranting right now. It's a lot to do with nerves. So I was thinking it would be really cool. I haven't even told my partner this, that I want to tell my story graphically. And there's stuff I'm not ready to talk to people about yet.
Yeah.
I don't know how to share it with people, but that's what I'm thinking, that maybe I can share it through a graphic novel. It would be maybe a depressing graphic novel, but I think it's the only way I'm really going to be able to share it. And then once I share it, I'll have the book there, and people can ask questions, and I can communicate back and forth with them about it.
You got to think about a way that you could conceptually tell your story, as opposed to pushing it off and thinking I'm going to wait for this perfect moment.
Or write it. Like, you're a writer, and you're a great writer. I've written it all down, but I still don't feel like I can get up in front of people and tell people this story. Plus, like, I always wanted to do it when I was younger. I always thought, if I could be in my 20s and the kids would still relate to me and stuff. And, not be like an old lady up there like that nobody, like, that's some crazy that old lady said, like, I wanted to be like more relatable, and I waited so long. But I think that the graphic novel is the way to actually express it. So I'm kind of excited about like moving, and that's probably going to be the next series of paintings I work on.
I love it. Any questions? I know that, like, Micaiah, you got to work with Jess a lot.
Yeah, I did have some questions about the painting. Like, there's texture on those little, are they like cat tails, or the little, what are those thingies? They look like corn dogs.
Yeah, they're like beach fuzzy
like
grass
fuzzy
things.
Yeah. My question was sort of like, what was like, I like that you added that element into it. I was like wondering why. It's just like, why did you add that?
Because I really wanted it to be California. I grew up by water.
Mm-hmm.
I did not grow up in the Bay Area, but although we did call it the Bay Area, it's the Bay Area on the East Coast in Florida. So I grew up there, and I wanted to bring my personal connection to the water here and in general, into the painting.
That's cool. Thank you.
Cool. Yes, Christina?
What made you want to put the starfish as like a paint palette and have like the paintbrush?
Oh, that is really cool.
That was to represent a lot of this. Okay, a lot of this I put together in my head after I did it, and I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is this and this is that. That is my gift. I'm not saying I'm gifted of being a great artist, but
but you should say that because we would say that.
I
own it.
It's what I like to do, and it's the way that I can give back. That I think will be something I can do for a long time, and so I wanted to represent it in the starfish, and then afterwards I was looking at it, and I drew the sketch this way too, and I was like, these starfish are here and they're kind of waiting to be picked up. And once they're picked up by the person that turns them into the gift, you can see the magic happening in it.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
then it turns into their personal gift. And then they throw it back out into the ocean again. And it still has the magic. And then it goes down back and it starts all over again. I don't know exactly what that means, but I just kind of saw that.
sounds like a ripple effect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It's going to be somebody else's gift. So, I really haven't totally psychologically dissected this painting, but now that it's back in the water again and it no longer has her gift on it, that means it's coming back and it's going to be somebody else's gift to give, which is interesting too.
That is a good. Second question: does she have a little star tattoo on her neck, or?
Yes,
I
she
think
does.
that's so cute.
Yeah, I'm drawn to
that.
star tattoos. And actually, there's a significance in it in my history too, which is one of the things that I am not.
That you're going to tell us in your graphic novel. I was telling Jess when we met for lunch, I was like, if we took, I like to do writing and storytelling workshops. She's got art. I was like, we could work together and do some sort of a healing workshop thing. And then she was like, I don't know how to do that, but I think you do.
I could have walked into this, that I would have never wanted to leave because I would have been this is where I'm gonna heal. This is where I'm gonna learn. This is where I'm gonna make sense of that craziness that happened.
When you say this, do you mean this?
These
Oh.
community.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It would have been huge. So when I was really little, I ran away, and when I came back, I went through some traumatic stuff during that time period, and they plopped me right back into school, and I was in such a different headspace after what I had been through. And the sooner you can have people around you to talk to and to deal with it, to be able to be open about it with people that you can trust, I think, the quicker you're going to heal, I think you're going to heal forever. I think it's just a ongoing process. But, you can feel better about yourself and know the things that make you feel good and focus on bringing those things into your life.
Awesome. Is there any final questions? And then I have one last one. Yeah.
I just have some comments. I just really like the way you reflected the sun on the water, the little red and the yellow, and also I like the effect of the wind blowing in her hair and the scarf and the little details on the skirt.
Thank you.
I'm going to offer this up too for any folks who helped with making a starfish or contributed to the painting in some way. You did.
Yeah.
You too, Christina, right? What was it like to contribute to, you just did your tiny little piece,
yours,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's it like to have, to have contributed in some way to this bigger project?
It was fun.
It was just really cool to know that there was going to be this centerpiece happening, and we were just creating some outer pieces, and then to see it all together, it just really makes me speechless. I was looking at it all day yesterday, just I could just stare at it for a long time, and then all the pieces around it, it just speaks volumes to the story, I think. And it's just really cool, and it's cool to just see how everyone took the approach on Starfish. I don't know how much attention people paid to Starfish until now, but now I can't see the starfish the same way. So
Neither.
Oh, also we were all confined to the same resources and the same paint, the same palette, and it's just really cool to see the diversity of just the different ways that people painted their starfish using the same materials.
Mm-hmm.
even like I painted the starfish, but I hadn't filled in my starfish. And then an engaged learner came in and he needed to paint a starfish, and I didn't have any more empty like canvases, so he painted the inside of my starfish.
Oh.
So it's the orange one right there. That's right.
Yeah,
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah. So
That's
it was like
colors.
cool how it like now it's like, oh, it was collaborative within itself right there.
Yeah, it was collaborative and then collaborative.
Even more so.
An ongoing collaboration.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of our projects are. Yeah.
We could connect that to the center forever. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How so? How does it connect to the center?
Oh, just I feel like I don't know that there is ever one thing that we do that's one
Huh.
person. I would say a lot of it is collaborative ideas, and then they always like comes together.
Yeah.
Okay, so most important, like maybe lesson or takeaway you learned from doing this project, if you combine it with all the other life stuff that you started to reflect on along the way, and then also anything else that you wanted to comment on that I didn't ask you or that we didn't ask you.
I'm glad I got the opportunity to work with the young adults from this college. So, and I'm looking forward to getting to know them all better, like individually too, over time. And I really hope to come back and somehow play a part in all this because this, like I said, this would have really meant a lot to me back when I was your guys' age. Good.
All right, well, let's give her a little round of applause.